Hey guys, I'm going to be going over your paper packets with your reading lesson. So yesterday and the day before you should have been reading the two stories, the Nosy Nina and Letter Perfect. Today is Wednesday, so you shall be going over the same two stories, but you're reading it for a different purpose this time. Now when you're reading it, you're going to be comparing and contrasting the stories. So let's go down. So those you should have finished already. Here's the comparing and the contrasting stories skills. So when it comes to comparing and contrasting stories, I always have my students focus on the characters, the setting, the plot, and the theme. The only thing that's missing here are the characters. I would still pay attention to them because sometimes with fables they matter. So it even says right here, characters and events that lead to the theme. The theme is going to be the lesson learned in the story, and you know that the theme is always determined by the characters and the characters' actions. The setting is going to matter, so the setting is where the story takes place. And sometimes there's going to be more than one setting. So you're going to keep that. And I have a graphic organizer below that we're going to fill out. And then the plot is the different events and how they happen throughout the text. So just those main events, how you recounted the stories on Monday and Tuesday, same thing. So if you have that with you, great. You already have part of it finished. When you're comparing and contrasting stories, you're going to look for those similar themes, or maybe they're different. Comparing and contrast. Compare means to keep things the same, how they are the same, and contrast means to tell me how things are different. So with the theme, it can either be extremely different or it can be pretty similar, so you'll look for that. Here is talking about how change is good, so that's going to be in reference to your story. And I'll go over your stories real quick here. So this story, Letter Perfect, was about a little girl who she got high grades and made friends easily, but she had a problem being in front of a crowd. So she decided to take on the spelling bee to see if maybe she can get out of that not being able to speak in a crowd thing. Well, she did really well in the first round at her classroom, and she was really, really excited and confident about it as she kept going on. She found out she was really good at this. Then she went on to I believe the school spelling bee. Yep, school spelling bee. And she kept going and kept going and kept going. And she won. Even though she was afraid of working in a crowd, talking in front of a crowd, she overcame her fears and won. So if you think about the theme here, and that's see how I just recounted the story. I didn't have to say all the little details in between. I just commented on the main things that happened. So I recounted the story. The setting is going to be your school. Her school, I'm sorry. And then her classroom here, the school here, home in the middle. I would mostly focus on that school setting. And I gave you the plot already. The character is going to be Suki. That's the main character. So maybe her classmates, maybe Miss Lopez if you want to add her in. And then the theme. I had a few students respond to me yesterday with the theme of the story, saying practice makes perfect. I think the theme for this story would more be of something of overcoming your fears. So a good theme would be that confidence takes time. Practice makes perfect is fine as well. Something about confidence, overcoming your fears, anything like that would be a good theme for this. And then Nosy Nina. So this story is about a girl who thought she was just curious, but a lot of people would call her nosy about it because she was always asking questions, always getting up in other people's business, just because she was a very curious person. So when she went to the music school her brother went to and did her homework, she saw this girl playing violin and she was very, very curious about it. So she decided to take up violin. Now this girl was not good at it when she first started it, But as she kept on going and going, she actually ended up being very good at it, and she went to an orchestra. That's right. They needed an extra person in the orchestra, and she decided to try out, and she ended up doing it, and she ended up doing a very good job. So this theme is very similar to the one before that, because Suki, the girl that wasn't very confident talking in front of people, didn't think she could do something until she kept working at it. And the same for Nina here. She was not very good at this until she kept working at it. So practice makes perfect is a great theme for both of these stories here. I just recounted the story for you, talked about the character Nina. So remember, recounting the story and talking about the plot are pretty much the same thing. We talked about the central message. Now we'll go down here. So it talks about letter perfect, the setting, the plot. Oh, and then I guess the theme's going to come over here. If you want to add the theme on here as well too. So you're going to be talking about just the setting that's only in letter perfect. What's in letter perfect that isn't in Nosy Nina? And then here you're going to be talking about the events in letter perfect that aren't in Nosy Nina. Same goes for this one here. Nosy Nina, you're going to be talking about the setting that's in Nosy Nina that's not in letter perfect. So they both take place at a school. I would put that in the middle. I wouldn't put that here. Letter perfect is talking about being at home at some point, and if I recall correctly, I don't think Nosy Nina talked about being home. They didn't directly say she was ever at home, so maybe I would add that in here. Maybe you could talk about how they were at a spelling bee in the plot here, where they were at an orchestra here. This is going to be in both, so the theme, that practice makes perfect, that would go perfectly in here. The plot here, the girls were bad at something, and then they just kept working at it and kept getting better, so that would be something you can add in here. Setting, a classroom setting, would be similar in both of these. So just go ahead and fill that out. And then we're on to day 4. Day 4 is going to be more about informative writing, so I'll have a video posted for that just coming shortly. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I hope this was helpful. Please reach out if you need anything at all. I'm here to help. All right, bye.